Well, hello. Hello there, boys and girls, and bigger boys and girls. It's Wisteria Witch here, and I have some stories for you. So, let's just reposition the hat and begin with our first story. Our first story starts out very, very sad. A time long ago in Scotland, when there were many wars, when men rode horses and wielded swords, and one poor young woman found out that her husband had been killed in battle, and she was expecting a baby, and she was so sad. It frightened her so much that when the baby was born, it didn't waken up. The baby had died. And so she was so terribly sad that she decided to bury her baby right where she'd given birth, under this huge oak tree. And the oak tree stood on a path where many people walked past, because the path was right beside a burial ground, a graveyard. And so people were often walking back and forth. And she thought, well, my baby's not been baptized. I can't bury it in sacred ground, but this is as close as we can get. And she prayed, she buried the baby, that eventually its soul would get to heaven. So time passed, and the baby, of course, because in those days people believed if a baby wasn't baptized, it couldn't go to heaven. Its ghost would be stuck on earth until it was given a name, because when a baby is baptized, that's when it's given its full name. So this poor little ghost grew up into a little boy ghost, and there he was, dressed only in the clothes he'd been born in, a little vest and little leggings. And the leggings had no toes on the feet. They went right down his legs, but his toes stuck out. And so this is what people called Hoggers. That was the name of these leggings that children often wore. So, of course, being a ghost near a graveyard is not a good idea, because people get very frightened. And any time that this poor little boy ghost saw someone coming along, he would try and speak to them and get them to give him a name, but they would just see this white little figure and run away, scared. So the poor little boy, years and years were passing by, and here he was stuck beside the tree. He couldn't go anywhere, and he certainly couldn't go to heaven. How terribly sad for him. Well, one autumn night, it was after the harvest festival in the town, and lots of people had been about, but nobody came up the little boy's pathway until it started to get near midnight. And midnight was quite often the time where the little boy felt safest to walk about. And of course, most people could see him at that time. So, harvest festival, everybody's drinking cider, having a good time. And this one man, he was actually the local blacksmith, and he'd had an awful lot of cider. So much cider that he was blissfully happy, and everything was covered in a golden haze as he stumbled down the path from town back to the forge. Now the forge was at the other side of the church, so he had to go down the path past the church. Now, normally he wouldn't have gone there, because he knew the story about the little boy ghost. And so, because he was merry, because he was happy, because the cider had made him quite drunk, he didn't think about it. He didn't care. Everything, as I say, was covered in a bright glow. So he's wandering along the path, back and forth, stumbling sometimes and picking himself up and laughing because he's stumbling. And the little boy saw him coming, and he thought, oh, it's the blacksmith. Oh, I wonder if he'll speak to me this time. And so the little boy waited till the blacksmith got as far as his tree. And the blacksmith tripped again on a tree root and was on his knees, and he clambered to his feet and he saw the boy ghost. But this time he didn't realise it was a ghost. He just thought it was a very pale little boy. And the blacksmith took a look at him and he said, "Ah, hello, short hoggers, and how are you doing?" Well, the little boy ghost was delighted because the blacksmith had called him a name, and he jumped for joy and he said, "Oh, sir, thank you, sir blacksmith. You've given me a name. Short Hoggers is my name. Oh, thank you so much. Now I've gotten a name, Short Hoggers of Whittingehame, because Whittingehame was the name of the village in the Scottish borders where his mother had come from and his father. And now he would be able to go to heaven, and he would see his father who died in battle, because his father was already there and be waiting for him." And so the blacksmith was none the wiser. He just waved at Short Hoggers and off he went. And the blacksmith had named him after his leggings, his hoggers, and because he was a wee boy, Short Hoggers. And so when the blacksmith had gone and the church clock struck midnight, a beautiful girl angel about the same height as Short Hoggers appeared, and she said, "Hello, Short Hoggers. I heard your name being given. You can now come with me, and your dad is waiting for you, and so is your mum, because she was so sad that she never got to meet you. She died. But they're all in heaven waiting for you, so please come with me." And she held out her little golden hand, and he took it, and all of a sudden Whittinghame was no more, and he was up in the most beautiful paradise. And that's the story of Short Hoggers of Whittinghame.